Her Excellency the Chair, let me thank you for this invitation to participate in this panel on states' obligation to support human rights within families, including, among others, the human right to social security. Social security or social protection systems enable families to successfully navigate life cycle risks and multiple transformations, including climate change, health crisis, and conflict. They do this by guaranteeing access to health care and income security, thereby enabling families to adapt to change in a way that protects their rights and dignity. The ILO has produced a large body of evidence that shows that social security, beyond being a human right, is also a powerful tool in the fight against poverty and hunger. But the question now becomes, how many people have access to social security in the world? Globally, in 2023, only 52% of the population is covered by at least one social protection benefit, increasing from 43% in 2015. This is a welcome progress. However, families around the world experience varying access to social protection depending on their country of residence. In high-income countries, they enjoy closer to universal coverage, while social protection effective coverage corresponds to 71% in upper middle-income countries and 32% in lower middle-income countries. At the same time, social protection effective coverage in low-income countries remains unacceptably low, at 9.7%. Her Excellency the Chair, let me repeat, in low-income countries, the social protection effective coverage is only 9.7%. The question now becomes, how much does it cost to ensure that all families are covered with a basic and universal social protection guarantee? The ILO has estimated the financing gap to ensure a social protection floor to all, including access to at least a basic level of income security and access to essential health care. For low and middle income countries, the financing gap equals to 3.3% of their GDP annually, with 2% of GDP required for essential health care and 1.3% for the 5 key social protection cash benefits. However, low-income countries face the largest financing gap, and across regions, Africa faced the largest financing gap at 17.6% of the region's GDP. So, the question now is, what are the strategies to close the financing gap for universal social protection and to ensure that everyone has access to the human right to social security? Well, regular domestic financing is the main strategy to close the financing gap, considering that building both health and social protection systems, including floor, implies long-term commitments. At the national level, this involves ensuring a broad tax base with adequate taxation level and social security contributions paid by workers and employers, which in turn supports the formalization of the workforce. Her Excellency the Chair, let me stress that we need fair taxation to close this financing gap and to ensure the human right to social security and health care to all families. What is vital is to ensure that low-income households do not suffer a welfare loss when taxes are levied. To make progress in this direction, the G20 Brazilian presidency proposed to create a global 2% wealth tax. This approach could promote global cooperation on wealth taxation, allowing all countries, including developing countries, to raise government revenues through wealth taxes. It must be noted that governments lose a large amount of tax revenues due to tax evasion and tax avoidance. Therefore, it is imperative to scale up efforts to promote the formalization of economies, as well as to measure and fight illicit financial flows. We also saw that reallocating some public expenditure to social protection and health is of utmost importance to expand domestic financing capacities. For example, through the progressive and careful reprioritization of fossil fuel subsidies, which could generate substantial fiscal space for social protection in middle-income countries. Let me also add two complementary policies: the effective management of sovereign debt, which can unlock additional resources to allocate to social protection and health care, and in addition, let me stress that while low-income countries must prioritize their own resources to finance social protection and health systems, international solidarity under the form of official development assistance is crucial to support their efforts, given their significant financing gap at 52.3% of their GDP. Let me conclude by saying that social protection and healthcare are human rights, and their fulfillment require the definition of a comprehensive vision for their financing. The ILO is working with the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs to support the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development, which will take place this year. The conference will define guiding principles on how to close the financing gap and to ensure the realization of universal social protection and universal health coverage. Thank you very much.